Oh hey, it's Sabrina. Alright, so you guys, my life has been a mess. I haven't been participating in any of the Spooktober challenges because I just can't deal right now. I rarely film a video without makeup, and I can't because my face is breaking out, and I've recently changed my diet up. So there's a lot going on that I'm like struggling with, but without further ado, I'm gonna kind of get into what this video is about. So this video is about the last of the FireDrakes, the Avalonia Chronicles. This book was sent to me by the author. I am a host during this booktube tour. I will put all the links down below so you can kind of check out what this book's about. There is a giveaway going on, so if you are interested in this book and you kind of like what I have to say about it and it intrigues you, then go ahead and check it out. I'm pretty sure this is the author Farah Oomerbhoy's, I don't know how to say her last name, and I'm pretty sure nobody else does either. I'm pretty sure that this is her first novel, her debut novel. So anyway, I enjoyed it, but I would kind of like to talk about the things I didn't like and the things I did like. So let's just jump in. All right, so the plot of the story, or like the gist of this story, is there's a 16-year-old girl. Of course, she's a teenager, and she is an orphan. Her adopted parents died, and so she had to go live with her aunt and uncle and her cousin, and they're pretty terrible to her. So she lives in this house where nobody likes her. She's also bullied a lot at school, and so she basically feels like her life sucks and she wants to run away and be free. And one day she gets kidnapped and she gets taken through this tapestry, which is like a portal to another world. And in this world, everything is not different. I mean, it's way different than our world. So it's like fantasy, and there are people called fays or fairies who possess a certain type of magic, and you have the mages who are also people that possess a different type of magic. And in this world, it is rare that if you have both magic. And so Aurora has to kind of discover who she is and kind of figure out why she got dragged into this world. And along the way, there's this evil queen who wants to kill her, and so she has to kind of meet up with her friends and family and get to know everybody, figure out who she can trust, and try to defeat this evil queen. So that's pretty much it. All right, so let's talk about some of the things that I did like about this book. One, I really like the cover. I think it's beautiful. I think it's so pretty and gorgeous. I also love that the author is a woman of color. I feel like I don't read a lot of books by authors who aren't Caucasian, and so I really like that about it. Also, this book was super fast-paced, and I like that because I was able to read it in under 2 days. And so that was another thing that like kept me going in this book. Another thing I liked about this book was that although there were tropes, there was one thing that kind of surprised me. I felt like when I read this book, there were a lot of things that I could see coming that I was expecting, but there were a lot of surprises, like a few surprises along the way that I was really excited by. So let's just kind of talk about some of the things I didn't like. There's quite a few things I didn't like about this book. A lot of the relationships, in my opinion, weren't believable because the character development just wasn't there, in my opinion. Because the book was so fast-paced and there's so much happening in every single chapter, like seriously every single chapter there was a new thing happening, it was hard to kind of develop any sort of attachment to the characters. It was just so fast-paced, and a lot of the characters seemed really similar. They all kind of talked similar, and it was very repetitive, and I felt like the author kind of wrote in a style where it felt like she over-explained a lot at the time, and that's not something I enjoy myself personally. I felt like there was a lot of unnecessary sentences in there, and so yeah, I didn't really love that. Like for example, in the beginning of the book, when Aurora goes through the portal and she meets this long-lost family member, she kind of talks as if she has known this person this whole time, and she implicitly trusts him, and I just feel like that's just not super believable, and I didn't really love that. Another thing was that even though there wasn't a love triangle, which Be Still My Soul I was excited about, there was still kind of a lot of insta love. there were a lot of tropey themes in this book. Like you have the evil queen, you have the handsome prince. Like there were a lot of things that were just super tropey, but I did appreciate that there wasn't a love triangle. However, this is the first book in a series, so there's definitely potential for there to be a love triangle in the future. And the last and final thing I didn't really love about this book was I didn't really particularly find myself loving the main character or the protagonist, which is really unfortunate because in a lot of ways she reminded me of Clary from The Mortal Instruments. She kept going off and being extremely selfish and doing really stupid things that could endanger her and her friends and family, and there were no real world consequences or punishments for her at all. And the whole time I'm reading, I'm like, nope, don't do that, that's dumb, you shouldn't do that, and she kept doing it anyway, and I just kept thinking like, oh my gosh, it's exactly like Clary. Then at the end she does do something where a consequence does happen, and she does have something bad happen, and I was finally like, yes, finally something that can kind of put her in her place and make her realize that she can't just go off and do whatever she wants. But other than that, I did enjoy this book. The first half of the book I would say is more of a 3-star, and then the second half is more 4-star. So I'm gonna kind of meet in the middle and give it like a 3.5 stars. This was an enjoyable book, don't get me wrong. I just felt like it was really obvious that this was the author's first novel. I think there were so many things that could have been refined. I felt like this was a first draft book, but overall it was enjoyable. I liked it. If you are someone who likes fantasy or is scared to get into fantasy, I would definitely recommend that you start with this book because it's super easy to understand. It's not complicated. It is not a Tolkien book or a Sanderson book, but it is super easy to read and follow, and it's really good, and there are a lot of cool things that happen. So that is it for my review. If you're interested, like I said, all the links will be down below if you want to enter the giveaway. I will talk to you guys very, very soon, and of course, thanks for watching.